Hello everyone and welcome to the ToborTech YouTube channel. In this video, we will be learning about branching statements in Java programming, specifically about the break and continue statements. So without further ado, let's get started. Now that we have learned about while, do while, and for loops in Java programming, it's time to learn about branching statements in Java related to loops. We have the break statement and the continue statement. First off is the break statement, which is used to break, or in other words, jump out of a loop. So picture a loop running again and again and again. As soon as the loop reaches a break statement, usually via a conditional statement, as soon as the break statement is run, the loop will exit immediately. So the program will leave the loop as soon as a break statement is run. Here we have a program using the break statement inside of a while loop. We have a variable num equal to 10, and while this variable is less than this huge number, we'll print out the number and increment the number by 1. However, here's the interesting part, the new part. If num is equal to 12, we will leave the loop immediately using a break statement. So if I copy this code into our code editor, we can see that instead of printing out the num value many times, it will only print out 10 and 11, as you can see on the right side. That is because after we print out the value of 11, num will become 12. And because 12 is equal to 12, we will break out of the loop immediately. So it will never run when num is equal to 12. That's never printed out in this loop. We can also use the break statement inside of a for loop. So in this for loop, we will print out the value of j, which is the loop control variable here. And if j is equal to 45, we will break out of this for loop. Running this program, we should see the values of 50, 49, all the way down to 45 printed out on the right side. And that's indeed the case here. And the reason why the loop never runs after printing out 45 is we print out 45 and we run into this conditional statement. If j is equal to 45, we will break. That is indeed true, so we run line 6 and the loop will end in that iteration. We also have the continue statement, which is used to jump out of the current loop iteration and continue to the next time the loop runs. In this program where we use the continue statement inside of a while loop, we have a variable I equal to 1. While this variable is less than 10, we will increment I by 1. And then we'll print out the value of I. But before we do that, we will first check whether I is even or odd. If I divided by 2 is equal to 1, so if I is odd, we will continue. We will not run this. We will jump directly to the next iteration of this loop if I is an odd number. Running this program, we should see the even numbers printed out. So we should get 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So when I is odd, we will continue without running line 9. And just like break, continue can also be placed inside of for loops. Here is an example. We have a for loop, we have the for loop header here, and the more important part is this part. So if num is equal to 5 or num is equal to 9, if num is 5 or 9, we will continue, which essentially is saying that if num is equal to 5 or 9, this is not going to run that time. It's going to jump directly to the next time the loop runs. If I copy this code here, we should see the odd numbers between 1 and 9 printed out besides 5 and 9, since during those two numbers, we're going to continue before printing out num. To practice what we just learned, let's write a for loop that runs over the integers between 1 and 10, including both endpoints. print these numbers out, skipping the even numbers and exiting the loop after printing out 5. So take a few moments to write this program yourself, and then I'll show you the answer. Here is just an example solution to this problem using a for loop, the continue statement, and the break statement. So we have a for loop that iterates over the numbers between 1 and 10 with increments of 1. And then in this loop, we print out I. But before we do that, we first check, is I even? If it is, we will continue. So if it's even, if I is even, we will not run this part. We will jump directly to the next time the loop runs using the continue statement. And after we print out I, we want to check, is I equal to 5? Because we want to exit the loop after printing out 5. If I is 5, we will break and the loop will end. Let's copy this code into our editor. And we should see 1, 3, and 5 printed out. These are the odd numbers between 1 and 5. To summarize, break and continue statements are very useful in fully controlling our loops, making them do exactly what we want. And that's it for this video about branching statements in Java programming. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to our channel down below. And with that said, thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you in future videos.